Good morning, true crime friends. We are back again today. Today is April the 11th. It's a Tuesday. Yesterday, the Vallow Daybell case has started in earnest. And so I was reading like all the live tweets or whatever. And then towards the end of the day, around 4 o'clock on the East Coast, they released the video. So of course, or like maybe 5 o'clock. I didn't find it until 6. I was like, okay, let me set this video to 1.75 speed and I will listen to it. It wasn't a video, it was audio, but it was on YouTube. So I was just like, I need to hear every single word. The good thing about having it on audio is that I can listen to it while I'm like cooking dinner and doing other stuff, and I don't have to focus on watching. I can focus on listening, which I really enjoy. Oh, I love a podcast. Oh, speaking of podcasts, I promise I'm gonna get back to that. Speaking of podcasts, I turned my Murdoch Murders playlist into a podcast here on YouTube. So I don't know how you listen to it, but if you go to the Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendos channel, you can find all 173 of my little videos, every day. It started out every week, and then ultimately it became every day during the trial. I would report my impressions. This is not the news. Don't come here for facts. We are not here for facts. We are here for entertainment. I gave my perspective on the Murdoch Murders podcast, and you should know in the beginning of the Murdoch Murders, I just was listening to Mandy Matney, and then I would be like, I needed to talk to somebody about it. I was like, girl, let me tell you what happened today in the Murdoch Murders podcast. And then I would break down the podcast. Ultimately, I was doing my own investigation. By investigation, I mean Googling. And then I would just give you my impressions. And I still love Mandy and them, but I have my own thoughts and ideas. And so I just, went off on a tangent as I want to do, like I'm doing right now. Anyway, back to Vallow. So I'm listening to this, the audio of court today. And I like the audio because they cut out all the nonsense. They cut out all the pauses and whatever. So this is what happened. There's opening statements. The jury is seated. There's 18 jurors that have been selected. That's like the 12 regular jurors and then 6 alternates because it's going to be a long trial and there might be some juror attrition. So they are prepared for every contingency. So I'm like, okay, everybody gives their opening statements. Is this an Idaho thing? Idahoans, hey, Idaho, if y'all are out there, Ada County, I need to know. Everybody seemed, even though I had the speed jumped up really, really high, everybody was just like, hello, I am very passionate right now, and let me tell you what is happening. They're also calm. I live on the East Coast. I work in New York City. There is not a calm thing afoot. Nothing. The rats are excited. The homeless are excited. The people who work there are excited. The tourists, well, you could always tell when someone's from out of town because they walk, painfully slow down the street. It is criminal. Anyway, things move fast here. I take it Idaho and your potatoes and everything, whatever else is happening. This is what I know about Idaho. Before Lori moved there, I knew that there were potatoes there. That ends all the information I knew about Idaho. Now that Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad and whatever have moved there, I know that there are Mormons and potatoes. Not really much else than that. So the prosecution gave their theory of the case, and their theory of the case is that Lori wanted power, money, and sex. And so she would do whatever it took to get those. And the prosecutors, the defense's case was, please don't blow up my house. Please don't blow up my house. I don't even know her that good. Yes, I am her attorney. Please don't blow up my house. Don't blow up my office. Don't bother my kids. Don't hurt us. I'm here to defend Lori Vallow. Please don't hurt us. That was basically his opening statement. Apparently in Idaho, I don't know how many people live there. I get the feeling not that many. I guess they have a public defender's office, but I guess they have too many cases for just the public defender to handle. So regular lawyers in the community take some cases on a pro bono basis. So this guy has accepted whatever wage the state is willing to pay him to take on Lori Vallow's case. And so he let it be known from day one, I don't really know her like that. They're paying me 35 cents a day. And so I'm going to be here. And it is not my job to prove that she didn't do terrible things. It is my job to make sure that the state has all of their evidence and their ducks in a row. That is why I'm here. Please don't blow up my house. Because apparently he was defending a case a while back and somebody firebombed his office. So he made sure we knew that. Like, hi, my name is completely forgettable. I do not remember at all what his name was. His voice was very like, hi, I'm your friend. You know how like when you're talking to like a rabid dog or somebody who is like about to jump off a building, you speak in hushed tones? That was this attorney. He was like, I want you to know I'm here and please don't blow up my house. At least that's how I heard it. He might have said other stuff than that, but basically he was like, don't hurt me. So he got up and he said some stuff, not that much. Here are the interesting takeaways from today's trial. First of all, shout out to citizen detectives. And let's be clear, I'm not talking about web sleuths. Web sleuths are people who don't know anything about the case. They hear about it in media, social media, traditional media, whatever it is. And then they're like, I'm going to solve this. And they get on their keyboard and they go out here and they run amok and make havoc and they just make up theories and get in the way of the case. That is web sleuths. We are not big fans of web sleuths. Sometimes they fix things, but a lot of times they make a mess. A citizen detective, on the other hand, is basically a nosy neighbor, somebody who's adjacent to the case, who sees and understands actual things that are going on. Oh, they're going to Google that because a nosy neighbor is going to Google. Your neighbors right now, my neighbors are probably like, what's she doing up this early in the morning? Let me Google and see what time her office opens. That is a citizen detective, aka a nosy neighbor. And nosy neighbor of the day, citizen detective of the day, Kay Woodcock. Miss Kay, listen, this is J.J. Vallow's grandmother. Hang on, I need some coffee. J.J. Vallow's grandmother was like, he was born to my son who's a drug addict. I mean, they didn't say that. They say he had personal problems, but we know that means he's a narcotics enthusiast. Okay, hope he finds some healing. So she's like, JJ was born to my son, who's a drug addict, and his drug addict girlfriend. He had drugs in his system when the baby was born. The baby was born 10 weeks early. All of that is terrible. He couldn't get his life together, so we was looking after the baby. And then we realized, we can't look after this baby. Oh, Lori, Charles, y'all want to take the baby? Okay, y'all gonna take the baby. So they took the baby, and they were raising him. And Kay was all over. She was calling him. She was visiting. She was grandmaing her behind off. And good for her. So what in the world made Lori think that she could disappear this child and Kay was going to be like, oh, he's gone. Okay, no problem. No. Kay is not mild-mannered like your attorney. Kay is a citizen detective. Kay was like, oh, I would like to talk to him on the phone. Oh, you can't get him on the phone? Let me send you a little email. You're not responding to my email? Let me call the police. Hello, officer? Oh, y'all not acting fast enough? What does somebody have the phone number for the FBI? Honey, Miss Kay called the FBI. She put out an award. She was just like, FBI and police. I understand y'all got other cases. You know what I'm gonna need? I'm gonna need somebody who is dedicated solely to this case, aside from just me. So she did what one does. She hired a private investigator. Honey, Kay Woodcock, citizen detective of the day, shout out to you. Now, other citizen detectives of the day, in that horrible case where the lady killed her stepson, she had also a citizen detective, aka nosy neighbor, aka random stranger that she met on Facebook. Listen, she met this woman on Facebook. LS is the other lady's name. She is not worthy of having her name come off these precious lips. So I'm just going to call her LS. So LS met a random stranger on Facebook through like the neighborhood app or whatever and was like, oh, pick up this bag of clothes. She was the neighbor was giving away some clothes. And met crazy behind LS. And LS was like, oh, you know people who will sit down and tell you their life story. My mama's like that. I'm not like that. I will tell you my life story. I have to know you first, but then I will tell you my life story. Anyway, so this woman, that's crazy, LS, was telling her life story to a random stranger she met off Facebook. And then when the child went missing, the lady she met off Facebook was like, wait, how come you're not out here looking? Wait, what's happening? And so LS was like, block. Oh no, that does not deter a nosy neighbor. The nosy neighbor was like, oh, let me just make this other little side account. Hey girl, how you doing? You don't know me, but I live in your neighborhood. And started asking questions and got all kinds of information to help the police. Just some random lady who didn't know nothing about nothing. She like, that don't look right. During the pandemic, the beginning of the pandy, honey, I was working from home. But work was not that busy because the world was trying to adjust. So I set up a nice table right in front of my picture window, figuring I will look out on the world and see what's happening. You know what you see when you look out on the world? The world, your neighbors. I reported live every single day of things I saw in my neighborhood. I was like, y'all, I was reporting on Facebook then because I didn't know nothing about YouTube. I was like, y'all, it's a car parked in front of my house and here is the license plate number. I took pictures of him. I took video. Listen, I live on a quiet street. People don't come down here. I was like, who is this man? Here is his description. Now he's doing something suspicious. Oh, turned out he was just cleaning out his ashtray. But I followed him all day. I reported breathlessly as a citizen detective, not a nosy neighbor. And then one time, oh, I have gone so far afield. Anyway, one time, I thought I found evidence of a murder. See, I got up in the morning and, well, let me back up. I had gone strawberry picking with my kids the day before, and we brought the strawberries home, and they were delicious, and I was like cleaning them and prepping them and slicing them, and I tied them up in like a Walmart bag, and I threw them in the garbage and forgot about them. Then I got up in the morning, and I took my regular morning walk, and I came back, and I'm sitting at my desk, and I was like, why is there blood splattered in front of my house? What is happening? So I was fully prepared to investigate. I got my phone. I went outside because I dialed 911 and then hovered my finger over to press send because I knew I had seen a murder, and I was like, I might need to collect evidence. So I got a Target bag to scoop up the bloody evidence that was in front of my house. And I walked up and I was like, this evidence smells delicious. Oh, it was strawberry hulls. Turns out a raccoon, I put the strawberries in the garbage right here, but my husband put the garbage outside because it was garbage day. I didn't know when garbage day was because garbage is not in my area of responsibilities. He put the garbage out. A raccoon got into the garbage and spread the strawberry hulls all in front of my house. Listen, a big red splotch in front of my house, that looked like a crime scene to me until I realized, oh, that it smelled delicious. And then I was like, oh, it's just strawberries. I might be overreacting. Anyway, back to Lori Vallow Daybell. See, I always circle it back. So, not a whole heck of a lot happened today, except for Kate Woodcock, JJ's grandma. She was like, oh, no, girl, you're not disappearing this baby, and I'm just going to sit here like boo-boo the fool. Oh, no. So she got on the case, and then Melanie Boudreaux's husband, Brandon Boudreaux. Now, Melanie Boudreaux is the bad Melanie. There's two Melanies in this story. One is shady, and one is plain bad. Shady Melody is the friend. The terrible Melody is the niece. The niece's husband, so soft-spoken. Is everybody out there soft-spoken? He was like, yes, I was married to Melanie. I was like, boo-boo, I'm going to need you to speak up. Volume. I needed to turn him all the way up. And so he was like, yes, I was married to her and she didn't go to church. She was just out here living her life, raising her 4 kids. And then she started spending more time with her auntie and them. And then she started going to church all the time and then going to the temple every day and talk about how she had other lives. And then the Lord told her that I was gay. What? The Lord is just out on people now? That might not have been the Lord. That might have been your crazy behind Auntie Lori. And so he was like, okay, what proof do you have that the Lord told you I was gay? And she was like, oh, well, I saw you dancing at a nightclub called the Pink Pony. That is homophobia. Child, calm down. Back in the day, when a crime committed, they just used an all-purpose brown person. There was a brown person who was nearby the whatever, and that's when the crime happened. Oh, that's when I got robbed. That's when the building got blew up. That's when the bank got whatever. Just like it used to be the all-purpose brown person, but now everybody is woke, and you're not supposed to use an all-purpose brown person, so I guess we can still go to gay. No, we can't do that. That's not right. So she was like, you're gay, so I'm going to have to divorce you. And he was like, I'm not gay. What's happening? Actually, he said, I'm not gay. Because he's loath to raise his voice. But she was like, nah, I got to go. And then finally, Lord, how long has this video gone on? Child, I have run my mouth this morning. Anyway, I hope y'all like this because, you know, I'm a blabbermouth today. After that had all happened, then she was like, I need a divorce. And I was like, okay. So they get divorced. And then he got married fairly quickly and she got married fairly quickly. people who are single a long time before they can find an appropriate partner. But in certain groups, it's like boom, 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 remarried right away. And I'm like, how they do that? Are these good marriages? Are the people like say, well, Lori, she's not a good example because she basically married every man she ever met. But Melanie Boudreaux remarried right away. Now she's married Melanie Pawlowski. And then Brandon Boudreaux, he remarried right away. How y'all get married so fast? Is that a Mormon thing? I know some like versions of Orthodox Jew. Like if you're single, they're like, oh, you're single on Monday. Here's your new spouse on Tuesday. Like the community will work together and hook you up. I try and hook my friends up, but I'm really kind of not that good at matchmaking. Because I'm like, you like coffee. He likes coffee. Clearly y'all soulmates. Why don't y'all just get married? It worked out good for me. It didn't. I mean, I've only been married once. I had a couple of husbands, child. They wasn't mine. I was just borrowing. But that's back when I used to be a bad girl. Now I'm a nice, upstanding citizen. But I met my husband and we dated for 8 years and had a bunch of kids together. And then we got married. I wasn't sure. I was like, listen, you can divorce a spouse, right? If you get rid of them. I don't believe in divorce unless you need one. And then you can just go and get rid of them, especially if it's an alternative to murder. But I don't believe in divorce. But I was like, I'm not sure. Like, he's still going to be these kids' daddy, but that don't mean he have to be my husband. What if I change my mind? Turns out he's a great guy. I married a really, really lovely human being. Now, do I want to smother him in his sleep sometime? Why, yes, because that is marriage. But I love him. I plan to spend the rest of my life with him. And I plan to not shorten his life artificially with arsenic in his morning coffee or whatever. Anyway, all of that to say, A, I'm very long-winded today. B, there's a lot of good citizen detectives out there. And C, this case might get interesting. For cross-reference, there's a brilliant citizen detective, probably the first citizen detective that I ever spoke about on YouTube is Melissa Hines. Now, longtime followers of this channel, which there's probably not many of you, know Melissa Hines from the state of Tennessee, or was it Kentucky, someplace in the South, versus Janet Hines. The very first video I ever did about the Janet Hines case was because of citizen detective Melissa Hines. Honey, Melissa had all of the tea. I implore you to go on back through my playlist and find Tennessee versus Janet Hines, because Miss Melissa Hines, Janet's daughter-in-law, was like, oh, something is afoot. It's a drunk driving case, right? Where this Janet hits and kills an officer by accident. She didn't even know she hit anybody. She thought she hit a road sign. But her daughter-in-law, Melissa, was like, what street did you drive down? Which way did you go home? You said there's a dent in your car? Okay. She ain't even throwing a bra. That's her report, or was that my report? I don't remember. She leaped out of bed early in the morning because she was the designated driver. She went to the scene of the crime, did her own little investigation, went to her mother-in-law's house, took pictures with her cell phone. She found evidence that the police didn't find. And then she called her husband like, boo-boo, your mama done killed somebody. That's how they found out Janet Hines committed the crime, because of nosy daughter-in-law, AKA citizen detective Melissa Hines. She's my favorite. I wonder where Melissa is now. And I wonder if Janet still speaks to her. Okay. It is late. I have gone on and on. I told you about the Murdoch podcast that I made. I just turned my entire video. Did I tell you? I don't remember now because this video was going on a long time. I turned my entire video playlist from Murdoch into a podcast. Apparently you can do that now with the click of a button on YouTube. So all 172 videos from Murdoch are now a podcast. When Vallow is over, I might make that a podcast too, or add that to an existing podcast. I don't know how it all works because I just saw it this morning and I clicked on it. So more will be revealed. Okay, good people, you have a great day. Tomorrow I will recap whatever happens in the case. Hopefully something interesting happens. We will see. But final words, do not blame brown people or gay people or otherwise marginalized minorities when things happen. I don't know. Why can't you say like there was a suspicious white man and he did it? Because in this case, that's what happened. In lots of cases, that's what happened. And please know, it's not about race. I'm just saying, can you back up off us brown folks for a minute? Can you back up off of us minorities for a minute? I'm just saying, think about that as you go through your day. Y'all have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.